Hello YouTube fans, and welcome to this episode of Double Down with Double A. This week I will be talking about my top 10 favorite movies of all times. These are movies where I've seen, most of them I've seen in the triple digits. One or two of them I've seen actually in the quadruple digits. Yes, quadruples. And like maybe one or two of them you could say I've seen them in the double digits, but there's only like one or two that's on this list that made my favorites that only seen like a few times. Number 10 on my list is Beverly Hills Cop starring Eddie Murphy. I mean, for those of you that don't know, it's a Detroit detective that has his best friend come out to visit him. His best friend gets killed, and he acts on some leads that he knew from what his best friend tells him. Flies out to Beverly Hills to solve the crime. Antics ensue. There's a lot of action in it. A lot of comedy. The banana in the tailpipe is probably the best gag in there. Number 9 on my list. Should become to no surprise to anyone. It's starring Prince, Morris Day and the Time, Apollonia's in it, Purple Rain. It's first time I seen that, I was a little boy, about 10 years old, and I've seen that one countless amount of times. I lost count. I literally lost. It had to have been, I know it's somewhere in the high triple digits. That's all I know. But I've seen it quite a few times. Number 8 on my list is a movie starring Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson, Anger Management. That movie was great from start to finish. It's hilarious. It's one of those movies where you truly gotta watch it, and Jack Nicholson's type of therapy that he uses for Adam Sandler in this movie was very unconventional, but for some reason it worked. So yeah, therefore that's why that one's on my list. And at the end it has that love story type twist where he finally does get a chance to show public affection to his girlfriends and all that. Number 7, Few Good Men, starring Tom Cruise, Kevin Pollak, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon's in it, Jack Nicholson. Who is not in that freaking movie? Jesus Christ. I think Cuba Gooding makes a cameo in this movie. Is about two poster Marines that get caught up in they're on trial for murder, and they're about to spend the rest of their lives in Leavenworth, and it's up to Tom Cruise, pretty much a litigator or attorney, never he's a plea bargain attorney. He's not a trial lawyer, that to get him off, and surprisingly he does. Breaks the rules of engagement when it comes to JAG court, as opposed to municipal court that you would normally see. Number 6, going back to another movie with a Cuba Gooding Jr. in it, with him and Robert De Niro, Men of Honor, about a young man that all throughout the movie you see a man that keeps chasing after his ambition, doesn't let anything stop him from achieving his goals, even to the point where his leg gets severed in an accident, but he still did not allow that to stop him from achieving his goals. He had to prove to the U.S. Navy that he could still operate as a naval diver with only one leg, and he does. Number 4, this one should come to no surprise to anybody. Al Pacino, Scarface. That's one movie I can watch over and over and over again. I know it line for line. It's one of those movies where if I'm flipping through stations and I see it's coming on, I would set the DVR. I would do whatever I have to do, but I'm watching it that night or like right when it comes on. And probably by far Al Pacino's most defining role right there is in Scarface.
More so than Michael Corleone in The Godfather?
Yes. You cockroach?
Okay.
So you want to deal with crack cocaine?
He wasn't selling crack cocaine, he was selling powder cocaine, and...
Cocaine is cocaine.
No, it's not.
How would you know? I would be frightened to know how you would know that.
For someone that used to sell it, I could say, no, it's not. Yes. Number 4 on this list, starring Ray Liotta and Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, The Goodfellas. That movie I could say I've seen in the quadruple digits. I've seen at least 1,000 times. As one of those I keep having to buy the DVDs for it. I keep having to get on VHS. I would watch it over and over and over again. It's like one of those. It's like one of those little woosah movies. If I just want to see a bunch of ass kicking and killing taking place and stuff like that. Joe Pesci played one of the most cold-hearted sons of bitches I've ever seen in any movie. In this movie right here, loved it. Still love it to this day. There's reasons why it's not number 1, because my number 1 surpasses it of all times. Number 3, The Breakfast Club. I know it's kind of hokey, but Judd Nelson, Anthony Michael Hall, you got Molly Ringwald, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy. Those 5 right there in the Brat Pack just made that movie what it was. I mean, it's first time I seen it, I was about 9 or 10 years old. We've seen it. My sister got like free passes for the sneak previews, but you had to use them that night. We all went. I enjoyed it then. And every time I've seen it after that, and still to this day, I have to sit in front of the television, and it's like, please, no sing-along. Although I know it line for line, no sing-alongs. I'm watching Breakfast Club. Bye-bye. Number 2 on my list is another movie starring Tom Cruise, and it has Anthony Edwards, directed by Tony Scott. Top Gun. Just from start to finish, just with the fighter pilots, being launched, the fighter jets, and just all the maneuvers and the story that it tells itself is just draws you in. But what drew me in was all the action from the fighter jets, but the story it tells, it just captivates you. And number 1 on my list, it's a Stanley Kubrick film, Full Metal Jacket. Robert Lee Ermey, Matthew Modine. You got I think one of the Baldwin brothers is in it. That movie right there, from start to finish. Some people, they only like the boot camp scene and the boot camp scenes, and that's it. But yeah, it's 2 movies in one. But you have to. The second part is, to me, is just as good, if not even better, because it shows what Robert Lee Ermey, how he took people like Joker and Cowboy and transformed them into who they were. Where you have to see how they progressed, after graduating boot camp. So that's why I enjoyed that part where they're off in Vietnam and they're fighting, and You know, you see the camaraderie between Marines and all that. Is loved it from start to finish. That's another one I've seen at least 1,000 times. I can act that one out line for line. If I was to be the sing along type, I can sing along with it, you know, and not skip it without skipping a beat. However, I don't do it because, you know, the purpose of watching the movie is to watch a movie. Quite a few honorable mentions, by the way. I've heard mentioned earlier that, you know, didn't make it on my list, but they're definitely up there in the top 20 or top 30. You got Forrest Gump. You got, you know, Big, Philadelphia was another great one. One that didn't make it on anybody's list that I haven't heard so far was actually, and I'm surprised it didn't make it on my list, but it's definitely up in the top 11, and that's Gone with the Wind. And there's quite a few, many others. There's classics, there's modern day classics. Color Purple, that should have been in there, but that's definitely a honorable mention. List can go on and on and on and on and on. Unfortunately, we don't have enough tape or time on that camera for me to give all my honorable mentions. So until next time, I am Double A. This is the Double Down with Double A. With my installment with my top 10 movies of all times, and I am out of here.